I never thought the moment I'd lose everything would come with the sound of my wife crying for another man. We were in the kitchen. She was scrolling her phone when suddenly she dropped it like it was on fire. Her face went pale, then flushed. I hadn't seen her cry like that since her mother passed. But this wasn't about family. This was about him. Jason, she choked out, clutching her phone like it had oxygen in it. My ex. Matt. He was in a car accident. It's bad. He's in ICU. I blinked. Okay, I said slowly, trying to make sense of why she was reacting this way. Why are you crying like that? She didn't answer right away. Just stared past me, breathing fast. Then she whispered it, like it was tearing her apart. I need to be there. I still love him. Silence. Time stopped. My ears rang. My knees almost gave out. I stood there like some rejected background character in the story of my own life. I looked at her, my wife, the woman I thought had chosen me, and all I saw was a traitor in yoga pants. She didn't wait for my response. Please, she said, grabbing my arm. Jason, please drive me. I should have screamed. Should have thrown something. But all I said was, get in the car. The entire drive to the hospital, she was wiping tears, biting her lip, whispering his name. Not mine. His. Matt. I didn't speak. Didn't even glance at her. My hands gripped the wheel like I could break it in half and shove the pieces into the mess that was my marriage. All I could think was, how long has this been going on? We pulled up to the hospital, and she jumped out before I even fully stopped. Ran inside like a woman possessed. Like her husband wasn't sitting outside, watching her sprint back to the love of her life. She didn't even look back. I sat there for 10 minutes. 15. Then I drove home. When I opened our apartment door, everything suddenly looked different. The photos on the wall weren't memories anymore. They were proof I'd been blind. Her perfume still hung in the air, sweet and sharp. I stared at our wedding photo. Her fake smile. My stupid grin. I almost laughed. Then I went into the bedroom and started packing. I didn't leave a dramatic note. Just scribbled one line on the back of a receipt. Don't worry, he can have you now. That was it. I dropped the keys on the counter and walked out. That night, I got 17 missed calls. By morning, there were 37. By lunch, 84 unread messages. By midnight, 177. She was blowing up my phone like a lunatic. Voicemails full of sobbing. Texts like, "It wasn't like that, Jason. Please come back. You're misunderstanding everything. I need to explain. I messed up. It wasn't what you think. Come home. Please. I'm lost without you. I love you." I never stopped. I turned the phone off. And for the first time in years, I sat in silence. It didn't hurt yet. Not yet. But the storm was coming. And when it hit, I knew it would rip me apart. I checked into a cheap motel on the edge of town. One of those places with flickering lights, thin walls, and the scent of old cigarette smoke baked into the curtains. It was the only place that didn't remind me of her. I lay on the bed, staring at the ceiling, her words looping in my head like a broken record. I still love him. Over and over again. I didn't cry. Not then. Something colder had taken over. A numbness. Like my brain refused to process the full weight of what just happened. At 3:17 a.m., I turned my phone back on. Her latest message popped up first. I made a mistake. I panicked. It's not what you think. Just talk to me. Then another. He almost died. I needed closure. That's all. And then, please, I don't want to lose you too. Too late. The next day, I drove back to the apartment. Not to talk. Just to get the rest of my stuff. I didn't expect her to be there. She was. The door swung open before I could put the key in. Her hair was a mess. Eyes red and puffy. She looked like she hadn't slept. Good. She deserved worse. You're here, she whispered like she'd just seen God. I'm not staying, I said, stepping past her. Wait, Jason, please. She blocked my way like her little body could stop a hurricane. I stared at her. Why don't you go back to Matt? Her lips trembled. It wasn't like that. I didn't plan to say it. He was dying. I panicked. We have a history. No kidding, I said, throwing clothes into a duffel bag. How long's it been going on? She paused. Long enough to confirm the worst. 6 months, she whispered. My hand stopped. I looked at her. 6 months. It started after that fight we had in February, she mumbled. I was hurt. You weren't around. My chest burned. So instead of talking to me, you went back to the guy who used to cheat on you? He's changed, she snapped, then instantly regretted it. I laughed. An ugly, bitter sound. Changed enough to blow up my marriage. Don't say that. Please. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to fall for him again. It just happened. Didn't mean to? I walked toward her, holding up my phone. 177 messages. Ava, you had plenty of chances to mean something. She looked at me like a child who just broke a toy. I don't love him. Not like I love you. Oh? Is that why you ran into the hospital like a soldier on a mission? Didn't even look back? I could have died in the parking lot and you wouldn't have noticed. Her silence told me everything. I thought you were my person, I said. I really did. I was planning our anniversary trip when you were busy sneaking off to his place. I never planned to leave you, she whispered, voice cracking. But you already had, I replied. You just didn't tell me. She started crying. Those dramatic, shoulder-shaking sobs she used to use when she wanted something. They didn't work this time. I saw right through them now. You want me to stay? I asked. Yes, she gasped. Then tell me you slept with him. She went dead quiet. Her eyes darted around like she was trying to find an answer that wouldn't make her look worse. I'm not doing this, I said, grabbing my bag. You lied to me in our own bed, Ava. Lied with his scent probably still on you. She flinched. I opened the door. She lunged forward, grabbing my arm. I'll end it with him. I swear. Just give me a chance to make this right. You ended it the second you chose him in front of me. I left. This time for good. Later that night, I got a picture message. It was her, standing outside our apartment building, makeup smeared, holding a sign that said, "Please come back." I blocked her and sat in silence again. This time, it hurt. The silence didn't last. That kind of quiet gets inside your skull, chews at your thoughts like termites on wood. I started remembering things, little things. The way she used to smile when her phone buzzed and she'd flip it face down. The sudden extra gym sessions. How she fell asleep early on Fridays, or how her phone was always on silent around me but lit up every 10 minutes. I hadn't seen it then. Or maybe I had, and just didn't want to admit it. One night, 3 weeks after I left, I got a call from an unknown number. I let it ring out. Then again. Same number. I answered. Jason, a man's voice said. Hesitant. Nervous. Yeah. Who's this? This is, Matt. I nearly crushed the phone in my hand. What the hell do you want? I just wanted to say I didn't mean for any of this to happen. I was quiet. My jaw clenched. I didn't know she was married, he said quickly, like that excused him. Not at first. She told me you were separated. My blood ran cold. She said what? She said you'd been distant for months. That the marriage was falling apart, and you were basically done. I was pacing now, my heart pounding like a drum. She lied to you too, huh? Yeah, he admitted. Look, man, I just got out of the hospital and I'm trying to clean up my life. I told her it was over. She went crazy. Started showing up at my place. Screaming outside my building. I laughed bitterly. That's Ava. When she's done ruining one person, she tries to cling to the next. She needs help, man. No, I said. She needs consequences. He hung up. I sat on the floor, in that crappy motel, holding my phone like it was radioactive. And all I could think was, she tried to flip the narrative. She tried to make me the villain in her story. I called my buddy Caleb, who'd always been blunt to a fault. I need a favor, I said. You still got that PI contact? 2 days later, I had a flash drive. I didn't even ask what was on it. Just opened the laptop and clicked play. There she was. My wife. At a bar. Laughing with Matt, then leading him by the hand into a car. Later, at his apartment door. Then another night, different clothes, same routine. Week after week. Like clockwork. But the one that broke me was her in our living room. Same couch we watched movies on, same blanket we used on cold nights. She was FaceTiming him. Lying sideways, biting her lip, giggling like a teenager. She even showed him the new underwear she bought, just for him. I closed the laptop. Sat very still. Then I threw it across the room. Something snapped in me. Not rage. Not sadness. Something deeper. Something final. The next morning, I called my lawyer. I want out. Fast, clean, permanent. I sent the divorce papers to her work, along with copies of the footage. No note. No explanation. Let her figure it out herself. Within hours, she called. Voicemail. Again. Then again. I listened to the first two. You sent that to my job? She screamed. Do you know how humiliating that was? Pause. Deep breath. You're doing this out of spite. I know you still love me, Jason. Don't throw everything away because of a few stupid mistakes. A few? I didn't even respond. Didn't need to. 3 days later, she showed up at my motel. I don't know how she found it, probably stalked Caleb. She knocked for 10 straight minutes. I opened the door. She looked desperate, worn, eyes like glass. "I'm pregnant," she said, trembling. My heart stopped. And just like that, the game changed again. I stared at her for a solid 10 seconds, not a single thought forming. My brain was just white noise. Then the first thing that came out of my mouth was, "Whose is it?" She didn't even blink. "Yours." I laughed. Not a normal laugh. The kind of dry, stunned laugh that comes when reality slaps you so hard you forget how to breathe. "Mine? After you've been playing mattress tag with your ex for 6 months, you expect me to believe that?" "It is yours," she snapped, pushing past me into the motel room. I didn't stop her. I didn't care anymore. Let her see how I lived now. In a cramped room with peeling wallpaper and a mattress that smelled like broken dreams. It was poetic. She turned around and faced me. "I made a mistake." "No," I cut her off. "You made a choice." Repeatedly. Over and over. In beds. In cars. Probably in our house too, right? Don't talk to me about mistakes. You did this with your eyes wide open. She swallowed hard. "I didn't mean for it to go that far. You said that the first time. And the second. How many times until it was what you meant?" She stepped closer. "I didn't come here to fight. I came here to fix this." "Too late," I said flatly. "There's no fixing what you broke." She blinked rapidly. I could tell she was trying to cry. But this time, the tears weren't coming easy. She used up her best performances already. "I love you," she said. "You love the idea of me. You love the stability. The man who paid your car note. The one who booked anniversaries while you were busy playing dress-up for Matt. You don't understand it. No, you don't understand. I don't want you anymore. And if the kid's mine, I'll handle it like a man. But I'll never be your husband again." She looked like I'd slapped her. "Good. You don't get to torch everything and expect to walk through the ashes like it never happened." She sat down on the edge of the bed like her legs had given out. I was lonely. I felt invisible. I raised an eyebrow. "So the solution was to crawl back into your ex's arms like a stray cat looking for scraps? You stopped paying attention to me." I felt my pulse rise. "I worked 12-hour days so you could sit on your ass and post thirst traps. Forgive me for not applauding every new nail set and fake deep quote you posted on Instagram." Her face twisted. "You were emotionally unavailable." I smirked. "You were physically unavailable unless Matt called." Silence. She stood up, walked to the door, turned around slowly. "You think you're better than me?" I walked toward her, just close enough for her to feel the heat in my voice. "No, I know I am. And deep down, so do you." She clenched her jaw, then stormed out. The door slammed behind her like an exclamation point on a life sentence. The second she was gone, I sat down, buried my face in my hands, and finally let it all hit me. Not the betrayal. Not the humiliation. The grief. I was mourning someone who wasn't even real. The woman I loved didn't exist. She was a character Ava played until the script no longer entertained her. And now, the mask had cracked. A few hours later, I texted Caleb, "Can you help me get a paternity test?" His reply was instant. "Already called my guy. I'm on it." I stared at the screen, then tossed the phone on the bed. I wasn't angry anymore. I was done. The test took a week. 7 days of silence, interrupted only by Ava's attempts to claw her way back into my life. New numbers. Emails. A burner Instagram account she made just to DM me. She kept saying the same things, like if she repeated the lies enough, they'd shapeshift into truth. "It's yours, Jason. We were broken before it happened. I never stopped loving you." She didn't get it. I wasn't checking for love anymore. I was checking for DNA. When the call finally came, I was in the parking lot of the mechanic shop, getting my car serviced. Caleb had arranged everything through a private lab. Voice calm, the woman said, "We've confirmed the results. The probability of paternity is 0%. I didn't speak. I didn't thank her. I just ended the call and stared at my own reflection in the car window, trying to process the final nail in a coffin I didn't even want to bury. It wasn't mine. That should have felt like freedom. Should have made me laugh or scream or celebrate something. But all I felt was this deep, nauseating kind of relief that sat wrong in my chest. Because no matter what, I had believed. I tried. I trusted her. And she spat on it. I went back to the motel and cracked open a beer. The cheap kind, the one that tastes like regret and metal. Staring at the ceiling again, I realized I had no idea who I'd been sleeping next to all those nights. She'd kissed me with lips that spoke to someone else. held me with arms that wrapped around a lie, whispered my name while dreaming of him. 2 days after I got the results, Ava showed up again. I don't know how she kept finding me. Maybe Caleb was slipping, or maybe she had that sixth sense toxic people develop, the kind that can smell a crack in your piece from a mile away. She knocked for 10 minutes. I didn't answer. Then I heard her voice through the door. I lied. I already knew. I stayed silent. It's not yours, she said. Matt found out too. He's not the father either. That got me. I opened the door. She stood there like a ghost, pale, trembling, mascara smudged like war paint. I don't know who it belongs to, she whispered. It was just once. After you and I fought that night in January. I went out with some friends. I got drunk. I don't even remember his name. There it was. The final confession. The dagger. Not even clean, rusted, twisted, slow to go in. I nodded. That's all I needed to hear. She reached out to touch me. Jason, I'm sorry. I've ruined everything. But I swear, I want to fix this. I stepped back. There's nothing left to fix. You burned it all. You don't understand it. I do. I cut in. You're a liar. And a coward. You can't be alone. So you swing from one man to the next like a vine in the jungle. And now you're standing here trying to reel me back in because you're scared. Not because you love me. She looked like I slapped her again. That's not true. It's exactly true. You didn't love me. You loved what I gave you. Safety. Stability. A warm bed while you kept one foot in the past and the other in someone else's sheets. She started crying. I didn't flinch. The tears didn't move me anymore. They were like special effects in a movie I'd already seen too many times. I want you to leave, I said quietly. Don't come back. Her voice cracked. Where will I go? That's not my problem anymore. She tried again. What if I lose the baby? I didn't even blink. Then maybe karma's cleaning up. She covered her mouth like she couldn't believe I said it. But I did. And I meant it. She turned, shaking, and walked away. I didn't watch her go. I didn't care this time. And for the first time since the night she ran into that hospital without looking back, I felt peace. 2 weeks passed. No knocks on the door. No fake tears. No anonymous texts or blocked number voicemails. Just quiet. I'd gotten a new place, small, but clean. It didn't carry the stink of betrayal. No traces of her perfume in the air. No framed lies on the wall. Just me, for blank walls, and a couch I actually picked out for myself. Freedom had a strange, unfamiliar flavor. Bitter at first, then strangely addictive. I started sleeping again. Not well, but without nightmares. Without waking up at 3 a.m. reaching for someone who wasn't really mine. Without the echo of, I still love him, gnawing at my soul. Then one night, Caleb showed up with 2 six-packs and a loaded silence. We sat on my balcony, watching the city lights blink like dying stars. He finally spoke. You good? Not really, I said. But I'm better. He nodded, cracked open a beer. She's been asking around. People. Friends. She thinks you're seeing someone. I smirked. Let her think it. He tilted his head. Are you? I shrugged. Not ready to open that door yet. Still cleaning up the mess from the last one. He didn't push it. Just sat beside me while we drank in the silence. That's the thing about real friends. They don't need to fill the air. They just sit with you until you can breathe again. The next day, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. I let it ring out. Then I got a message. Hi, this is Michelle. I'm Ava's sister. I know you probably don't want to hear anything from our family right now, but I thought you should know. Ava lost the baby. She's not doing well. I stared at the screen for a long time. Then I turned off the phone and went to the gym. Not because I didn't feel something, I did. But because I knew better now. Feeling something didn't mean acting on it. Just because she was hurting didn't mean I had to be the bandage. She didn't get to burn me and then ask me to hold the match while she cried. Later that week, I saw her for the last time. It was accidental. I was grabbing coffee near my office, and there she was, Ava, sitting alone on a bench outside. Thinner, pale, like the guilt had started feeding on her. She saw me, stood up. I kept walking. She said nothing. Neither did I. And just like that, we passed each other like strangers. Like we'd never shared a bed, a life, 1,000 small moments that I once thought were real. That night, I finally opened the drawer where I'd shoved our wedding photo. I looked at it for a while. Then I tore it in half and tossed it in the trash. I wasn't bitter. Just done. People ask me sometimes now if I'd ever forgive her. My answer's always the same. Forgiveness isn't about the other person. It's about freeing yourself from the weight of what they did. But that doesn't mean you let them back in. I learned that the hard way. And if there's one thing I'd tell any man out there reading this, it's this. If she makes you feel like a placeholder in your own damn story, walk. Don't explain. Don't beg. Just walk. Because you'll never be enough for someone who's still searching for what they already had and threw away. No? I sleep fine. Because she's not in my bed. And I finally am. It's strange, the way life resets. You wake up one day and realize the person you once planned forever with was just a lesson in disguise. Not a soulmate. Not a partner. Just a mirror, showing you what happens when you ignore the red flags and call them roses. Ava was my breaking point. But she was also my turning point. After everything, after the lies, the betrayal, the chaos, I didn't just lose a wife. I lost the version of myself who tolerated less than he deserved. Who mistook being the bigger person for being silent. Who confused love with survival. Now, I don't love harder. I love smarter. I watch people's actions, not their excuses. I trust, but I verify. And I don't let pretty lies dressed in vulnerability walk into my life like they belong there. I've rebuilt. It took time. Therapy helped. So did long nights alone. When I finally faced all the stuff I'd buried beneath, we're just going through a rough patch. Turns out it wasn't a rough patch. It was a warning. One I didn't want to see. I started focusing on my work, my health, my peace. I traveled. I hiked alone for 3 days in Utah and stood at the edge of a cliff, wind in my face, realizing I'd never felt so whole. I stopped needing someone beside me to feel complete. Eventually, someone came along. Unexpected. No games. No drama. She didn't try to fix me. She just met me where I was and let me do the same. It felt quiet. Safe. Real. But this story isn't about her. It's about what came before. It's about the man who finally walked away when everything inside him screamed to stay. The man who learned that being loyal to someone who betrayed you isn't love. It's self-betrayal. So if you're reading this and your gut's been whispering what your heart won't admit, listen. Because no amount of history, promises, or fake apologies can erase a simple truth. You deserve someone who chooses you. Every day. Especially when it's hard. Ava didn't. And that's okay. Because I finally did. The last time I thought about her, really thought about her, I was sitting on my balcony with a glass of scotch, watching the city settle into night. The lights flickered like embers, like everything was finally slowing down. That's what peace feels like. Not fireworks. Not revenge. Just stillness. A quiet soul. I never replied to any of her final messages. I didn't need closure from her. I gave it to myself. Some people will never understand the damage they do. And some won't care, even if they do. Ava was both. She lived in a world where consequences didn't apply until they finally did. And by the time reality caught up to her, I was already gone. There's power in walking away. In knowing you had the chance to go back, to try again, and choosing not to. Because sometimes, strength isn't in fighting for something. It's in letting it burn. She had my loyalty. She had my forgiveness. She had my future in the palm of her hand. And she threw it all away for someone who didn't even stay. But me? I stayed with myself. I rebuilt. And the man standing here now is nothing like the one she left behind. This man knows his worth. Knows that love without respect is just control. Knows that silence in a relationship is louder than any screaming match. So here's the real ending. I moved on. She didn't. And while she's out there chasing echoes, I'm living in clarity. Not everyone gets a second chance. And some people, they never deserved a first.